Activate interlock. Dynatherms connected. Infracells up.
Yo!
Rock and roll.
I pumped me up, yes, sir.
How you guys like that intro?
That was good. It was good. It was like drinking coffee, man. That was good. That was nice.
Man, well, welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. This is completely different than what we normally do. And of course, you guys probably used to me having a graffiti background, but I am on the go right now. Life of a YouTuber, content creator. You know what I'm saying? And I have two of the hottest people on two different spectrums, right? So we got the young gun in here, Mr. Skylar Santana. And then we have the sensational, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's grandpa, uncle, and Big Papa, Mr. Robert Wood.
Yo.
What's going on, gentlemen? How we doing today?
Intro like that, I feel like I need to go get my cane.
Man,
It's a
bro.
pleasure to be on here with you, Trap. Thank you so much for having me on and putting this together, man. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to talk some watches here.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk watches, gentlemen. Want to welcome everybody to the chat. I see Dad Mod is in there. Victor Showcase. RDND. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. Did I say that wrong? RDNR. Sorry about that. And let's see here. Ripsaw Joe is in the building. JM Moore, NYC, and company. And of course, I got these two gentlemen in here with me right now. We're gonna talk some watches, bro. We're gonna talk to YouTube, and you know what I don't get to do sometimes is pick the brains of somebody that's way smarter than I am, right? Robert Wood, you are the professional. I feel that you are the professional of us in this group. I've watched you on the yes, bro. I've watched you on the Hangout, man. And people, I've said this before, people look at you and revere you as being like the guy. You're Mr. Horology. You know what I'm saying? Like
So. I mean, I know some stuff. I don't know a lot. I don't think anybody knows everything, obviously, except maybe Tim Moscow. But you know, I think part of it comes from being doing live radio for almost 40 years. Is that I'm really comfortable talking. I'm comfortable talking off the top of my head, pulling knowledge that I've retained over the years. So I think that certainly helps. Obviously, I never did television, so the YouTube thing showing my face and talking is a little bit new. But when you just think about that, you just concentrate on what you're saying and not who's watching, then it's a lot like doing a radio show, obviously. Honestly.
Okay. Oh, we gotta do wrist checks. Bro.
I was gonna say that too. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I want to put my man up there first.
Well, I will say that today, as you can tell by the shirt, is Texas State game day. In about an hour, we're going to be on national television on ESPNU, teaching the UTSA Roadrunners how to play football. So I'm wearing my game
Trafford,
watch, which is my maroon Trafford with the maroon rubber, and of course Trafford made by a proud graduate of the Texas State University. So we're ready to go.
I knew it when you had the sweater. I was like, I bet you got that Trafford. I knew it, bro.
That's right.
And okay, Mr. Santana,
All right. So on my wrist today, I was live with this a little earlier, but I've got the PD-1. And for those who don't know, now you know this is going to be the first watch that Dad Mods Watches is coming out with. This is a prototype. However, I can tell you it's fully functional, and I can tell you that it feels like an all-around watch already. I'm excited to just, go back and forth with him soon about it. But yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun. Complete tool watch, brush all over. I love this thing. I love this thing. Absolutely. So it's going to be coming out soon for you guys. So we're going to have reviews, and we're going to have a whole bunch of things for it.
That's nice. Screw down crown and the whole deal.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally a tool watch.
What's the water resistance? 2 or 3?
So he's shooting for 2. He's shooting for 200 meters. Yeah. He wants to be a complete tool.
He's in the chat too. I saw the video, yes, man. If you guys haven't seen it, man, go check that video out. And I'm just rocking a hammy. You know what I'm saying? It just a little something beautiful. Like, my crosswinds. I absolutely dig this watch, man. And I know we're gonna get into that, man. Talking. I do want to say before we even get started into this, man, I'll be doing a review over. I've actually showcased this watch already, but the Nomadic, the dive watch that I got, the Mirai 401. I was talking to the team over there, and they want me to do it. Like, they saw the video that I put, and they asked me to do a review over the watch of what I think, and I'm definitely going to do that for my downtown area. I think it's a nice watch, but you guys, that'll be next week. Possibly, I'm shooting for like next Wednesday, dropping that video, man. But I'm excited that somebody. I thought it was like really dope that somebody reached out and said, "Hey, I saw your video. And how are you liking it? Could you just like, put a video out about it, and it's not going to be a pay because I bought it. You know what I'm saying? I paid full price for it. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that's important. That's important, man. So, and let's start with that question. How do you guys feel about that paid programming when it comes to us content creators getting them? And I want to hit, and I want you guys in the chat to actually talk about it too. What do you guys think about that? If a company sends a YouTuber or a content creator a watch, do you consider that to be an official review, or you think it's like you're swayed or whatever? So I'd like to know what you guys think.
I think it depends on the reviewer. Most of the content creators I see who are sent watches, first of all, are very upfront about it, and secondly, say that the watch company has not seen the content before they put it on YouTube. And by looking at how they review those watches, if they are critical of the watch, they are critical of it. I think that's the difference. I think it depends on the YouTuber.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I very much like that answer, Robert, because that's exactly where I went to in my mind when you asked the question. Real quick though, I want to address, I did say 200 meters. Actually, Dad Mods is shooting for 300 meters. Yeah, I just want to make sure I say that publicly. So again, guys, it's a prototype, so I'm still doing my homework. We're still communicating back and forth, but he's actually shooting for 300, which is phenomenal.
That's plenty, because when I used to go snorkeling in my younger days, I think I got down to a whole 20 meters. So, 300 be plenty for me.
Yeah,
200 plenty for me.
Yeah, exactly. But he is shooting for this to actually be a tool watch and people to actually utilize it during their, whatever it is they do for a living and everything else. So I'm with you. Washing my hands is about the only meters that my watches usually have to handle. But going back to your question, Trap, I agree with Robert. I think that it 100% lies on the reviewer. And I think if somebody gets up on there and they're just totally, like, they don't have to be completely lying. They could just be trying to hide the fact or hide things. It's going to be exposed really quickly. And people are going to sniff that out. And from the most part, from what I've seen on YouTube, I've seen people be upfront and honest about whether or not they were given the watch. And I don't know if you mean like just a watch, or do you mean actually getting payment for making the reviews? Like, is that also included in what you're asking, or is it just?
Well, yeah, you know what, that is. Let's include that as well. So I'll tell you this, and without me name dropping, because I will never do that. I'll be a gentleman about that. I do know that there are reviewers that won't do a review unless they're paid, right? And this is coming from like reliable sources, that people that have to pay for particular YouTubers, because that YouTuber has a great amount of traction, have that their numbers are up there. So they're like, hey, I won't touch this watch unless you pay me. So not only you have to pay me, but you have to give me the watch as well, right? And like I've heard some horror stories, bro. Like you guys know, I will get mobile real quick, bro. I'm like at ADs. I'm going to different functions. I'm talking to people and stuff behind the scenes, and I'm getting some horror stories, bro. And I'm like, and that part I've never knew that part of YouTube existed. it really, I'm not so much shocked, but it's just like it just blows me away. I'm like, okay, so knowing that there's certain YouTubers that receive payment, and then when I listen to them talk about the watch, how phenomenal it is, I'm like, I can't take your word for it, bro. You got paid. And you got the watch.
Yeah. And I mean, I can see that. I also see the other side where they're trying to make this their profession and they have to make money somehow. But I think that the thing falls on me. If they get paid for the review, fine. Okay. Did the watch company have to see the video and approve the video before they put it out? I think that's the big tell. If you want to pay me for it, fine, but you don't get to see the video before I put it out. You don't get to have editorial say on what is in my video before I put it out. You don't get to sanitize my either praise or criticism. If you're doing it that way, that's fine, because I understand they want to make a living, and this is what they've chosen to do to make a living. I get that. It's just, how do you handle the brand that wants to come in and say, oh, by the way, we're paying you, so we get final editorial word on your content? Then that's a no-no.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, man. Like, don't try to put strings on me. And I'll be completely transparent with you. I did have a company say, hey, we want to look at the review before you released it. Now, that wasn't because they wanted to take control of my wording or how anything was portrayed. They wanted to make sure that everything that I said was accurate about the watch as far as the details go. And they also wanted to make sure that I just wasn't showcasing it all beat up and dirty. They were sending me a brand new watch. They didn't want me to showcase it with scratches and dirt and stuff like that. Outside of that, they said, we want you to be completely honest. We want the honest feedback so we can improve. So that's the only time that I was comfortable with showing them the review before I released it to the public. They had no word as far as what I was said after the fact. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, I'm lucky because I don't review watches. I just talk about them. I've only been approached by one strap company. I haven't decided whether I'm going to take them up on it, because I don't really look at myself as a reviewer. I just look at myself as a host and somebody who's trying to, share knowledge and give my opinion, but I'm not really here for the reviews, and I'm not here for the money. I don't even have my own watch channel. So
true. Very true.
I'm on JJ's Watch Hangout, so
Right. And I completely agree with you, man. Like, one thing people have to realize, like you said, Robert, seeing the other side of it, you got to realize that some of these creators are on here doing this as full-time. They don't have daytime jobs. So if they decide to take money from a company to make the review, they're getting paid for the time that they would have put in regardless, and realize that this is a full-time job for them, and them YouTube ads don't be paying. So, they have to make their money somehow. And I rather them see them take money to make a review rather than they only do reviews on watches that they have to sell, right? A lot of the reviewers, they have their own store, they sell it, and obviously they're going to make reviews about the watches they sell, and they're not going to talk badly about them, which holds something over their head even greater. But if you're getting paid as a full-time to make the review, people are going to sniff it out whether or not you're just highlighting it because you got a bag of money. So I'm okay with it because they're making a full-time living. They're feeding their family this way, as long as they're doing it honestly, like anything else.
The Watch Hangout is really fun. Yeah, I enjoy the Watch Hangout.
Hey, and thanks for stopping. I wasn't on last night. I watched the show, but Space actually dropped on for a little while. So that was cool to see him.
Yeah,
Space is good, man.
You know what?
Space is a super supporter.
Man, bro, did you see? So Here's the deal.
He's also a super big dude too. I didn't
know
he was like 6'4", and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Wouldn't infectious laugh.
Bro, he is. I like talking to space, man.
Yep.
But you know what's crazy? When I was making the actual thumbnail for this and doing the when I started making the intro, I've actually put a portion of Voltron in there because Space G said something about that on Watch Crunch, and somebody was like, "Hey, they're coming together like Voltron." I was like, I have to pay, tribute to Voltron at this point.
Yeah, I saw that too. That was funny.
Let me see. I have only one issue doing a review, and it was because of their company branding. I had a beer bottle in the video trying to be funny, and they asked me to remove it. Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, that for me would be crossing that line. Like, if it had nothing to do with blocking the watch or affecting it, like, they shouldn't have a problem with any other companies or that may be his style, right? Like his viewers may get his comedy. So you're trying to control the way he comes off or the way he connects to his viewers. Yeah, that's a mistake, in my opinion. That's a mistake.
Yeah, because like that adds to like who you are as a creator, because I know some people like having cameras in the background, their EDCs and stuff like that, and it may be a particular brand like, hey, we don't want to be associated with that brand, so could you take that out of there? I'm like, well, bro, if you watch my channel, like for example, I had a company reach out to me, say, hey, we would love for you to do a review on this watch and sell these watches for us, right? And I was like, okay, what's the watch? They was like, okay, we see that you like Panerai, so we have a Panerai for you. And I was like, you're just gonna give me a Panerai to review? He was like, no, you can keep the watch. I said, so I'm thinking like, wait a minute, okay, you're gonna give me a Panerai, right? He was like, yeah. He was like, his box of papers and everything. He said, and you wouldn't even be able to tell that it's a fake Panerai. I said, I'll pass.
See?
I said, I'll pass, bro. I'm like, no.
Yeah, well, in the first place, you're not supposed to be reviewing fake watches on YouTube. YouTube tends to not like that.
I'm trying to tell you, man. Oh my gosh, they trying to get, and the fact that I was like, wait a minute, you do realize that like it's a fake 1-for-1 copy. Now they sent me a picture of the watch. They like, we got Rolexes, we got the Panerai, we got APs, and I said, hey man, look, this conversation's over.
No,
I was like,
what you have is a bunch of trash with the names on it. You don't have an AP. You don't
exactly.
have a Rolex. You don't have a Panerai. You have stuff that you printed on the dial.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not to mention, it's illegal. I mean, like that's just crossing a line. I mean, look, there's a bunch of homage companies doing 1-for-1, and they have a different logo. We're not here. I'm at least not going to debate that with some people. If you like it, you like it. But at least it's not illegal. Like you shouldn't 100% be showcasing that on your channel. That's crazy. That's madness to me. You're part of the problem at that point.
Yeah.
So of course, Mr. Man, listen, you're gonna get a lot of agreements, man. I don't think you can ever have a problem with Mr. Robert Wood, man. Like, bro, you're probably like the most likable YouTube figure, period.
Tell that to my ex-wife. Which is funny
with that one.
Which is funny because my ex-wife and I get along now better than we ever did when we were married. So she's like one of my best friends now,
Wow. Wow. Hey, look, Space G said Fugazi. I'm telling you, yeah, man, we can't mess with like I'm not messing with that, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that that person took the time to look at my channel and know that I like Panerai. And then you offer me like, and then you hit me up and say, hey, look, people don't have to know that it's not a Panerai. I was like, bro, please.
Try to take you down, chat.
If you
hey, man.
If you like the look of Panerai, but you don't have the money, there are affordable alternatives rather than fakes. Spinnaker makes a great affordable alternative to a Panerai.
Yes, sir. I got 2 of them.
I still
want my Panerai.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I still that and when that time comes, I was and you know what? I'm gonna say this. I just got my Seiko badge today. I'm gonna watch Crunchman. I feel accomplished today. You know what I'm saying? I got a Seiko badge, y'all. Hey, I play some games, man. I am hunting. You know the one person he's on here, Santana. You are a freaking monster. Like, y'all, this man has 155,000 badges from Watch Crunch, bro. Like, I was going through. I said, what in the world? You've been busy, sir.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say you're just exposing my free time here, Trav. That's all you're doing. You're putting my business out in the street.
I sure am.
They're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun. Once I got one, I was like, it's like the Xbox achievements or whatever the case may be. I was like, oh, okay, and it just became part of my my side collecting thing. Just collect some badges, Yeah,
it's all fun. I'm trying to figure out how many I have. I don't even know.
Man. He said, I want to be Trap's wrist for 5 minutes. No, you know what? You want to be Robert Wood's wrist for 5 minutes. Mr. Robert Wood bro, you got some nice stuff. I'm actually, I think after this, I'm going to go over to Moria Jewelers, man, and have them pull out a couple of Tag Howards from me. So I can just like do a quick little, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I'll go live at the drop of a hat.
Yeah. I was gonna say, first of all, you're gonna go live. Second of all, ain't no quick with that sentence. You're gonna go live. You're gonna say, we're gonna be up in here for about 10-15 minutes. Half an hour later, 45 minutes.
Hour later, yeah. Well, I've kind of gone over my time, but
Man, I can't help it, bro. It's so different because here's the deal. Because you guys are in the chat, we're talking, and whatever the topic is, it's like it's going crazy. It's going crazy, man. Because and let me ask you this, Rob, how many events have you been to since you've been a watch enthusiast?
I see the 2 minutes, the 2 minutes and hours. 2 years ago and last year. I've already got my tickets for this year. And then, I'm a member of Austin Red Bar, so I go to their local meetups. So I've been to a meetup at this classic car place, which is where I took pictures with the 66 Batmobile and some other stuff. And we've had an event at the New Breitling Boutique here in Austin. So I got there for a day. That was really nice. And the most recent one was at one of our local ADs where I got to try on a bunch of Omegas, which certainly that's kind of my Seamaster 300 black dial, black bezel is sort of my exit watch that I plan to get when I retire. So I've got like 6 years to save up for that. And so, yeah, that was nice. But larger events, just really the 2 minutes and hours. I haven't traveled to anything. I'm hoping one of these days to get to Watch Time New York, which is coming up in October, because a lot of the crew from the Watch Hangout end up meeting at Watch Time. So I would like to go there one of these days. I can't make it this year, but I'm hoping maybe next year or the year after to fly up there.
So Robert, you were the one. Oh, go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. Robert, you said you were out in Texas?
Yeah, I'm in Austin.
Okay, cool. So then you're going to see the new Chris Ward setup probably soon, I would imagine.
I hope so. Hey, Duco.
Duco's in
the building.
Duco is my co-host on Thursday, along with Blake on Tuesday, rather, of the Watch Hangout that we do on Tuesday. So good to see Duco in here.
I like the name though. Like when I heard you say Duco, I said I love that name, bro. Like that, I'm like, that's dope.
Duco. It's very distinctive too, because like when you just said it too, it just something went off. I'm like, oh, I know this name for sure.
I could tell you how he got it, but then he would sick all those alligators on me that are live in his backyard in Louisiana.
See, you know what? When I heard the word Duco, man, he reminded me of like an action figure. He'll be a G.I. Joe. Like, you know what I'm saying? Hey,
he looked like an action figure too. That's the depressing part. He's all muscular.
See, it's all, bro, that's crazy, bro. because that's where my mind went when I heard the word Duco. I said, man, he's a G.I. Joe. Like, I got to collect Duco.
Oh my good Lord. We're gonna have fun with that on either Sunday or Tuesday next time.
Just click this part right in. Just click this part
right
right in the beginning.
Yeah.
Right, bro. I'm trying to tell you. Hey, so you were at Austin at the last year at that art museum, right?
Yeah, and the year before. They've had it the last 2 years at the art museum.
And that's crazy. And I'm sure I saw you. I walked right past you.
Yeah, because you were there. Was it last year or 2 years ago?
I was there last year.
Okay. Yeah,
yep, I was there last year.
There on just on Sunday. I didn't go on Saturday.
Okay. Okay. So I missed you.
I may have missed you. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I went on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a great event, and it's a nice place to have a watch event. To go with the kung fu. Oh Lord.
Oh, it's over with now, man. Hashtag Duco.
You start talking about kung fu grip, and all of a sudden, Mr. GMT is going to show up. That's a whole different story. If you don't know Mr. GMT, you won't get that. If you do, you'll get it.
Man. Oh my gosh, bro. Hey, that's a beautiful thing about YouTube, man. So I'm gonna ask you, gentlemen, man, what is the one of the most important things for you as far as giving out content and giving you advice and expertise? What is the most important thing to you guys?
I'll go first. For me, it's giving value, obviously, entertaining, giving value, giving something that can help connect the viewer to me right away. Obviously I'm working on my craft still. I'm still very green in this space, but I think the most important thing, and I think the most important thing for any content creator is, people value their time. They're on YouTube. They have plenty of other channels. They have plenty of other things they can look at. In the space of watches is very niche, but even still, you got to give them some kind of value at the end of the day. And I just do that through sharing my experience from the things that I've gone through. You guys seen me do my videos on me doing my mods, affordable watches, just everything that I've come across. So, still working on what exactly to bring to the table to continue that, but also entertaining for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Just having fun. Because here's the deal. Like when I first started collecting, my biggest thing, the reason why I started searching for a community, and I don't know if it's like this with you guys, but I didn't have any real life friends or family that are into watches as much as I am. Mm-hmm. So finding that content and, connecting with the people that are as nerdy as I am about watches was something to make the hobby, just more enjoyable at the end of the day. So that's my thing.
Yeah, my daughter's sort of into watches. Of course, ever since she became a mom, she's really into being a mom. But it's funny because she really never was into watches until she started coming over to my place and seeing my collection and borrowing watches out of my collection, which she still has one of my Tag Heuers, which is going to be hers. I'm just going to give it to her. And she still has, the first one she stole was a Casio Duro blue dial. So, that's so pretty. That's so pretty. I said, take it. And the Tag Heuer it's an older mid 80s gold Tag Heuer Professional 300, and she saw that. Oh, that's really cool. Can I try that on? And then it walked out of the house with her. So she likes it. But yeah, I'm kind of like you. None of my personal friends here, other than Kurt, who I met through the watch hangout, are really into watches. So and I got Kurt into Austin Red Bar, so now we meet up at least once a month at Red Bar, and had dinner with him last week when Marco was in town. Marco from Berdeen's in Chicago was in town, and so we all had dinner. So that's one of the great things about the community is you meet a lot of like-minded people, and you end up meeting them in person, and you get a really nice rapport with them. It's great.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. And I take it from a different lens as well too, though. For me, one of the heavy hitting things for even just liking watches and doing YouTube, is knowing that at one point watches were like designed for the uber rich, right? And then you had a couple of companies that were making it for everybody to afford, but like they weren't collecting more than 2 watches. Like a man would have 1 watch or a pocket watch, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I dig back into like my ancestry and stuff like that, and looking at old pictures and seeing the watches that, you know what I'm saying, like my great uncles would have, or my great great grandmother would, like, you know, all the little different stories, right? So I look at today, I just feel that like being an enthusiast or a watch collector, or just having a semi interest in the hobby, man, is just another avenue for us to know who we are as people and kind of compromise our day-to-day stuff, man, just to be in each other's space, man. So I look at that, man, just based on where I'm from, how I was raised, and there's certain areas that I would have never thought I'd be in, right? One, I mentioned this when I first started going to ADs. I didn't feel comfortable with going to an AD because I remember my grandmother had mentioned this. She said, "Hey, listen, you go to these stores, you keep your eyes straight, keep your hands in your pocket, and you respect people for who they are, right?" And I'm like, "Okay, what are you saying?" She was like, "I don't want you going to the store, get in no trouble, and don't look or ask for anything outside of your price range." So my grandmother would get me prepared to shop at some mediocre store, right? So I had a fear of going to an AD. If anything was over $1,000, oh, I'm not doing that, you know. And then let alone
Yeah.
when you go and look at a Panerai, bro, or Rolex. Oh my gosh, no, that's a dream. Like the only time I will go to an exhibit is if it was a car show. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it was like-minded people there. But watches, I wouldn't do it. So I literally, this actually broke my shell doing this. I said, man, you know what? I'm going. I don't care what nobody say. I'm going in there and I'm pointing my camera at everything. And here we are.
The rest is history.
Well, I'm kind of the way you are as far as trying on watches. At the Red Bar meeting we had at the local AD here, one of the Omegas they had was that $40,000 all gold Paris 2024 watch that they had put out.
Yep. Yes, I saw that.
I tried that thing on and it was like, oh my God, wow. I can't drop this. I can't do anything with it. Jesus Christ. I said, can y'all put like a pad or something underneath my wrist so I don't do anything to it?
Oh man, Robert Wood needed a bib to try this thing on.
Yeah, that's right. I need one of those bibs with the pocket that catches you. Yeah, that's what I needed.
Oh my gosh, man.
Scary. But yeah, so I managed to do that without getting myself in trouble. But yeah, I see where you're talking about. You know, you're trying stuff on that there is no way I could ever afford that watch. That watch costs more than my car.
Woo!
You know, and
woo! Whoo, man,
yeah,
I can't.
That's something that I got to work on next, man. Like you talked about the watch shows, you talked about ADs. I'll be honest with you. There was one AD. Yeah, there was one AD that I bought my Tissot from. It was the PRX, but other than that, I haven't been in too many ADs. I really want to find a home base like how you have, Trap, or maybe a couple of them rather, and just build a relationship. Those that are interested in social media and having conversations, open dialogues, and the shows are something that I'm working on as well. I've only been to one last year, which was the Wind Up Fair, which is coming up again, and I'll be at that. But other than that, I want to try to catch a couple of shows, getting into independent brands and valuing them. That's something I'm heavily interested in.
So you're up in the New York, New Jersey area?
That's correct. Yeah, I'm in New York. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm mad because, like I said, I just missed that Philly show. I didn't do the homework. I had my head down. I just learned about it the day before. I would have loved to have gone to that. That was only like an hour and a half drive. It wasn't too bad, but it was just a little too last minute. But it would have been perfect because I could have practiced, how it would look like shooting at one of the shows. And I think it's a smaller one too, but some great people are up there, man. Mark Time is up there, Vario, like I said before. So I would have loved to have done it, but I'll get in there. I'll get there,
Oh yeah, you'll cross that road. Jay Moore, I would like to know, okay, so you said you want to know what everyone watch collection sweet spot is. And like be more specific with that one with me. Like, are you talking about the number of watches to have or a particular company? Or what do you mean by that?
Or a particular style of watch.
Yeah, I mean, because if you're
price
talking
range.
style, I'm going to go. My sweet spot would be a diver all day, every day. Man,
Yeah,
gosh, I love divers.
my collection's diver heavy as well.
Yeah, man.
Honestly, I think everybody's collection's diver heavy. I mean,
I think
they are the most popular style of watch out there. I think diver is certainly the most popular. Chrono is probably second. Dress watch distant third. Yeah, you've got your Tissot Chrono.
Bro, man, this watch. When I
you
tell
watch
you,
for a minute. You stop lying and tell us that you purchased it. I know you purchased that watch, man.
it belongs to me now, sir. It belongs to me now.
I knew it.
We were talking about that the other night on the phone. By the way, he calls me. I'm expecting, we're going to talk for like 2 or 3 minutes just to set up this show.
Right.
Almost an hour we talked.
Why do you think his name is Trap?
Yeah, I think I looked at the time when we got off. It had been 53 minutes or something like that.
Right. Bro, listen, because he was giving me some nuggets, man. He was just telling me stuff, and I was just sucking it up like, yo, this is dope. I'm like, okay, all right. And I'm thinking, okay, we got to go. But then we went down a different rabbit hole. I was like, oh, yeah. And we were just talking about stuff, man. And you know what? I will say this, man. Shout out to any YouTuber, and I will say this, anybody, even if I don't watch a show, even if I don't agree with your perspective, I still respect your grind. I respect your hustle, because this isn't easy, y'all. And Robert Wood, he don't even have a channel, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to maintain integrity. You have to stay above board, because I know we talked about the drama that YouTube brings. Oh my gosh, bro, that is so much in it, man. So I commend every content creator, good, bad, or indifferent. I commend all you guys and gals.
Yeah.
To get that together.
And I mean, I actually do have a watch channel that I created, but I've never done anything with it. It's called Watch Talk Live. It's completely empty, but I've just never done anything with it. Don't really have time to do anything with it. So I'm very content with what I'm doing on the Watch Hangout. And now that I have a show that I co-host on Tuesday nights, that pretty much satisfies everything that I want to do.
Yeah, and I'm completely okay with that. And it takes a lot off of you as far as pressure goes. When you're hosting these things, you have to worry about so much more. But just coming on here and chatting and being part of it is you're contributing tremendously regardless. So I appreciate you doing that. And I think for the most part, you've been doing that for a very long time at this point.
So number of watches. So my collection is sort of split into two right now. So I've got one half of it is the higher end stuff for me. And I say for me, higher end, which I think my most expensive watch would retail for $2,800. And so I've got the higher end, which is my new Bucherer, a couple of Longines, couple of Tag Heuers, and so that's kind of one part of my collection. I've also got a couple of high, they're not really higher end, but they're mid-tier Seikos that are in that group as well. And then I've got my fun watches, which are, the Trafford, some G-Shocks, some more, a couple other Seikos, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where I am. But as far as numbers go, I've got 6 or 7 in the higher end group. And then I've got about 12, 13, 14, something like that in the fun side of the collection.
Nice. Yeah, I'm on my Watch Crunch now because I honestly lose track every week of how many will go in. So right now, what my Watch Crunch says, I have 46 watches in my collection, all of which are affordable. So we're talking, I think they're all sub $600 pretty much. I think the Tissot PRX is my most expensive, just to give you guys perspective on it. And I'm still very early on, man. Like, I don't know if everybody knows this, but I'm collecting for about I'm pushing maybe 5 years now. So, 5 years, 46 watches. I've kind of hit the ground running. And at this point, I'm slowing down. I'm obviously taking more time to look at more valued watches and micro brands and different spaces to what comes next. For sure, I thought I was going to, decrease the collection at one point and try to get it down to a certain number, but I've given up that battle with myself. I might give away some watches. I'm very early on in the stages, and I'm sure you guys were at that point too. And just taking some time to see how I'm going to pivot and who I'm going to pivot to, and taking my time with it at this point.
Yeah, and let me make it too very clear that the top two as far as worth in my collection, I did not pay $2,800 for the one that is MSRP $2,800. I paid $795 for it.
Oh,
so about what you paid for your that, thanks to $1,000 coupon from Joma Shop. Thank you, Joma.
Okay.
And the other one is my Longines Hydro Conquest GMT, and that was speaking of Duco. That was a gift from Duco and the Watch Hangout guys. So
I remember the episode. Yeah, I remember you talking about that. I said that is amazing. That is freaking amazing.
Yeah,
that's super cool.
It's a fantastic watch. Now the two Tag Heuers I paid for, but again they were used. They were, quite below what you would get a new one for. My Monaco I paid $1,800 for. My Aqua Racer I paid $800 for. So again, I'm not spending tons of money. All of my watches, even though some are in that higher price category, I'm not spending that kind of money on them.
Right. You got them at a very good deal.
Yeah.
I think I got all you guys beat because the retail of my watches, my Invicta pieces.
Tell the truth.
My Invicta pieces. Hey, listen, man. The MSRP on some of my watches range anywhere from. Exactly. So I win. I win, sir. Now I only paid $159 for it, but that's neither here nor there.
$500,000 for the watches, but I got them for the cool price of $29.99.
Oh man! Gosh, hey, and I love having fun with that stuff, man. I'm gonna tell you something. That's how with Minutes and Hours, how I got involved with that is he did an actual review on the watch, and it was a Jason Taylor, I think he was talking about. He said this watch MSRP or retails for $23,000, yet you can get this watch for $1,200 or whatever. And the particular watch that he talked about, and I was like, no, I understand MSRP is outrageous. But that one that you're talking about, MSRP, was $2,900. I think you got it all. Hey, if you're going to tell it right. So me and him was going back and forth with each other. And I was like, look, because think about this. I was so green with Invicta, but like I was hype about it. Like you couldn't tell me anything about Invicta, right? Now, granted, I still have my Invicta. I still collect them. Rob, man, you talked about this. Today's Invicta, I'm not liking the designs, and I'm not liking the turn to the left and quality that they have. And I can say that's because I purchased some of their newer things, and I was like, yo, this isn't the same in comparison. And this is funny, not even comparing it to another brand, comparing it to a watch that I bought 6 years ago.
Yeah,
I can see the difference. I say, wait a minute. This watch used to have a Swiss movement in it. Swiss-made movement in it. Now you change that movement out for a cheap VD 54, 53, or whatever the case is. I'm like, bro, nah. Or the Z60. And for the life of me, I was like, okay, that's fine if you want to, put the cheap stuff in there. But hey, you need to keep, to be above board on these reserves and your heritage models. But like you're taking a cheaper route, and I'm like, what the heck? And that just pissed me off over time. So if I were to buy Invicta today, it has to be anywhere from 2000 up to 2013. I don't want anything current. That's point blank period. Not even the 1953. They don't even use the same rotor on it anymore. It's a sterile rotor. And I was like, shameful. It's
They're
shameful.
cutting costs. Yeah, they're cutting costs.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was actually I have a couple of Invictus, and you know I have no like. So as I've been collecting, I've been more drawn towards the smaller side watches, but I still have a love, and I still have a time where I want to put something robust on my wrist. My only issue with my Invictus at this point is that they're heavy, right? And I knew that going in. I would love for Invicta. Keep the size, keep the robust, make them titanium, you know, take off some of the weight, make it lightweight. I know the cost is, you know, from what you just explained to me, they're not looking to add more cost into the watch. It seems like they're trying to save $1 now, but you know, I would love for them to do more titanium models, especially in their huger sizes, because I think that for that, and again, I have no problem with the actual size. It's just the weight, man. My wrists are not, they don't have a lot of meat to them. So you just feel that weight on the bone, and it's like I tap out, you know.
And titanium doesn't have to be horribly expensive. There's one of my fun watches is a GMT from, I'm trying to remember the brand name, but it's an NH34 GMT, so the Seiko movement, and full titanium bracelet and case, and it was $175.
Oh. Yeah, but there you go.
You know, full titanium doesn't have to be horribly expensive. And now, is this the same grade of titanium you're going to find in a Grand Seiko? No. But it's probably the same grade of titanium that somebody like Invicta could use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, so since we're on the topic, Invicta, of course, you guys, if you don't know, it's been a company since 1837, right? And their whole point is making an affordable timepiece. Since Ale and his family took over it in 91, you got to think that was a time where hip hop was like blowing up. So it was all about the baggy clothes, the flash, big watches, big chains, if you were into that type of stuff, right? So Invicta definitely had a market. You know, I feel that, in my personal opinion, I feel that AL had an opportunity to actually turn with, and just like you said, bro, he had an opportunity to turn with the change of time. It's like, okay, we may not want to put out a 56 millimeter, so to speak, but let's curve it down. Let's go back to our Speedway design. Let's use titanium. Let's use the Miyota movement, because it's becoming more expensive to put a Swiss movement in there. And now we don't have a factory to do Swiss made anymore, so we have to, you know, we got to cut costs. Miyota was perfect, because right now, if you look at companies like Citizen, they're super titanium, bro, for under $600, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're looking at companies like I'm gonna say Space G is in here. Aragon put out, now it's a grade 1, maybe grade 2 titanium, but that watch that he put out in January of this year, February, $175 for a titanium watch, sapphire crystal, Miyota 9015, $175.
Yep.
And he's a smaller company than Invicta.
Well, I mean,
that's crazy.
Even if you look at independents like Islander, for example.
Yeah.
Mark uses the High Beat 9000 series Miyotas in a number of his watches, and they're $200-300. And he makes some larger dive watches that use NH35, but they're still not hugely priced. And the quality of those watches, and I've got one of his divers in the other room that I use for my beach watch. The quality is fantastic. And it's an NH35, fantastic quality.
Yeah, Trap, I got a question for you. You know,
yes, sir.
all of the Invicta models, have they done full titanium in their watches in the past before? And then looking at the other side of that, right? Because I do understand that part of the appeal is having that weight, right? They like it gaudy. Some people do like the weight on it. So have they done it before? And does the watch still retain some heft to it that would make somebody happy who wants the weight into the watch to some degree?
Now, they do have some models that were done in titanium, right? They done a few divers, some of their larger watches they done in titanium. Now, granted, it does still have the weight because, of course, it's still a large, massive piece. And they got the flame fused crystal or whatever the case is, and then you have the weight of the movement, of course. However, I just feel like they missed out on an opportunity really to give the customers what they want. And I would the best way I would say, bro, they have an opportunity to do it now. Like I said, and I go back to Aragon. And matter of fact, I'm gonna take Aragon out. They could just go back and do what they did before in the beginning, because they were putting these watches out that weren't weighed like 350 grams. You know what I'm saying? Or like, cause I have one watch. It's titanium. It's a Sabakwa Noma 3, right? This is a big watch, but in comparison, man, it's like 153 grams lighter than my other Sabakwa specialty. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, it's still big. Don't get me wrong. It's 50 millimeters from, you know what I'm saying, as far as the bezel, but then it's like 53.5 millimeters with the crown and stuff like that. But they don't have any coating on it. I'm looking at Long Ranger. He said hardness coating. I'm not playing. He said I gotta have those Vickers on there. But yeah, bro, missed opportunities. I'm gonna just say this: Invicta they're missing some opportunities, and I don't know what their direction is right now. To be honest, I really I've been a fan of Invicta since 2014. All right, and I still rock with the brand. The people that represent it, I rock with them, and that was a big factor. Is the people? Some of them are watching at home. Some of them in the chat. They made this more like, they made it interesting. They made it lovely to be a part of, you know. And I've mentioned this, Invicta fans, collectors are different than anybody else on the spectrum, because they own the spectrum. So if you got, bro, I'm just being honest, bro. If you put them in comparison to a Timex or a Rolex, like these got Timex and Rolex people and Casio can coincide with each other because there's some classics, right? But when it comes to Invicta, it's like, no, it's all or nothing. Or what's that commercial? It's nerf or nothing. Invicta is not having none of that, bro. Like, oh, you have this, you're the enemy. I mean, I got slayed, bro. Like the first non-Invicta watch I put on my channel, bro. You know how many messages I got? Trap, what are you doing? What is that? What is that? That little bitty thing look like a dime on your wrist, bro. No, stop. Don't do it. Don't do it. Come back towards the light, Marianne. And I'm like, bro, I like watches, man. I've always liked watches, bro. Like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I'm going to leave it alone because I don't want to get beat up again.
It's like they're kind of trying to counteract, right? Because I feel like there's a lot of people that say like, oh, if you collect Invicta, you're not a real watch collector. So it's like they're counteracting that by saying, well, if you put anything else on your wrist, you're not an Invicta fan. You know what I mean? That's kind of weird. It's kind of strange, man. We should accept everything, you know?
Say, what are the guests' overall opinions on Invicta, and do they own any Invicta watches? I believe you both. Yeah, you both own Invicta. You own Invicta, don't you?
No, I have.
Okay.
I have one Invicta that's still in the collection. I've recently put 3 up for sale because and Trap and I were talking about this the other night on the phone. The 3 I have for sale are newer, and I don't think the quality stacks up to the one that I'm keeping, which is a 2015 diver that's got an NH35 in it that is still running perfectly, never been serviced, none of that. Still a great watch. Still case is in good shape, everything. Bezel still turns, the whole 9 yards. The quality on that watch for what it is there. The quality on the other 3 that I got simply isn't there. You know, in the first place, when I got them, I had no idea that they have a dive time bezel that's actually fixed. What is the good of a dive time bezel that's fixed? I don't get that. So, you know, that's where I am on Invicta. I agree with you that I don't know about the money grab part. I mean, they are in a business to make money. So, you know, every watch is a money grab in some way or another. But as far as the quality goes, I don't think Invicta's there anymore.
Yeah. I think if Invicta makes 36.39, they will get a giant money back. And you know what, Jose? They do though. They don't promote them as much. They don't promote them as much. They have like their pro divers around 36 to 37 millimeters. So they do have some.
They do, but they promote them as women's watches.
Exactly, bro. That's what I'm saying. So let me ask. I got a question for you guys. Oh, cause somebody asked, like, how do you know it's grade 2 titanium? You should say it, but I get frustrated. And I don't know if this is a question, but I would just put this statement out there. I get frustrated when I look at a watch and it does not give me the description of the watch properly. I absolutely hate that.
Yeah, definitely. That happens a lot with a lot of the affordable watches, a lot of the Chinese manufacturing. I'm reviewing a lot of the affordable watches and, just trying to do my homework. I'm coming across that a lot. I'll be interested in a watch. There'll be communication. I'll go on the website and this won't be listed. That won't be listed. And I'm like, these are pretty basic stuff. I'm not asking you a crazy thing about the watch. Is they'll be missing what kind of loom, or they'll be missing just certain things. So that's something that they have to pay attention to, and I think that they have to course correct, especially if you're not into ADs and you're selling your stuff primarily online. There should be plenty of photos, including the loom shot. There's a lot of people who love loom, and then there should be a very detailed description in whatever that you're showing. So I see that a lot, Trap, as well.
Yeah. And I see that, people are talking about the hardness of titanium. And somebody mentioned Citizen, that's what makes their super titanium good, is because, yes, it's a grade 2 titanium, which is actually a little bit harder than grade 5. But it's got that big, it's grade 5, but anyway, I'll get it right in a minute, but it's got a hardness coating that makes it almost as hard as stainless steel, or maybe as hard as stainless steel. That's the great thing about their super titanium. And there's other watch companies that use titanium with the hardest coating as well. Citizen's just the one that comes to mind.
Okay.
And they were the first to make titanium watches, by the way, Citizen. So they've been a trailblazer in it for a long time.
Oh my gosh, man. And I second that. Like, with as far as I had people ask, like, hey, what would you start at if I was to start a collection? And I was like, hey man, one, you really have to, identify with, the type of watch you like. But as far as the money's concerned, like, Citizen is a great spot to start, man. In my humble shoot, that could be a one and done, to be honest, man, because they have they got the dive watches, ISO rated. They have the chronograph, bro. That new Forza, oh my gosh. That watch is sick, man. The dial, bro. Oh my. Don't even get me started, bro. They got the radio watch, like, which is hard for me to get that thing to. I always have to manually set it because, like, unless I go outside and just like, okay, wait for it at a certain time and then it'll set on its own or whatever. But other than that, they got some amazing watches.
So I got a question for you guys. You guys have been on here longer than I have, way longer than I have to some degree. I try to imagine what this space looked like, what YouTube looked like for, talking watches and stuff like that, going back. Like, how has things changed with the creators from what you guys see up until today? What are some of the things that you guys see people coming into the platform new versus how it was back then? And then lastly, where do you guys see this going for creators? Like, what are the things that they should focus on, separating themselves, or just general interest in watch talk in general?
Well, I've been at it for less than 2 years. So, I mean, at Christmas Day this coming year will be 2 years, because that was the first time I got on the Watch Hangout, because JJ was on there by himself on Christmas Day. And he said, hey, does anybody want to come on? So I just popped on, and I've been on ever since. So I don't have that much, but I would say that I think what really changed Watch Talk and Watch YouTube was the pandemic. I think that's what really built it, because people were sitting at home. They had a bunch of money that they wanted to spend on something because they couldn't travel and they couldn't really go out to eat and they couldn't do this and that. So they had some extra money, and some people spent it on watches. And while you're sitting there bored at home, well, let's see what's on YouTube. So you had a ton of these new watch channels, including Watch Hangout, that started at that time, and a bunch of others that started doing these live streams. And then you would get other YouTubers who would just do watch reviews. And that's how people spent, at least Watch Geeks, spent their time during the pandemic.
I have to agree with you. I have to agree with him wholeheartedly because I did see a change in the way YouTube was like absorbed in, the content that was coming out. So going back before, years before I was, doing YouTube myself, I was watching TGV, right? I was watching channels that had been out for a while. And there were only, as far as Invicta is concerned, there were only like maybe one or two people doing Invicta watches. And the other people, it was more of they would drop information that these watches were available. There were no personalities. It was somebody with some white gloves saying this watch is out and they had music, right? And that was it. So you really didn't have like somebody that you could root for or be mad at or scream at the screen at until I would say for my first one was TGV, right? And this guy, I was just watching him casually, and looking at some watches, right, whatever. And it wasn't really, I wasn't absorbed into it that much. And when I jumped into it, it was because of there were more people starting to pop up. And I said, you know what? I could do that. And I was talking to a good friend of mine, Tony Woe, and he said, yeah, bro, go for it. So, and I definitely wanted to come on with something different than what everybody else is doing. Just something casual, something that, just showing my love for it. And this is well before the word enthusiast came out, right? So we just crazy watch collectors at that point. But leading up to COVID, I would say people got, they started feeling themselves, they started getting more polished. There were more faces being, added to the fray. Some people they were showcasing some beautiful watches, heavy hitting, giving some great information, but it wasn't until COVID to where I seen, it's not like it stopped. We were at home, so you had like nothing but time to focus on these people, and they cranked it up. They turned like that bar that was right here went up here, and now people are more professional, right? And I'm probably like one of the only people that kept, I'm childish with mine still, so to speak. Because I just like I said, I look at it from a different perspective. But I seen some people lose their love for the watches, and it became more of a business, like you mentioned earlier. I'm not knocking nobody for doing this because you got to make your money. Because YouTube ads ain't doing jack, bro. Ain't doing what I don't know. You're getting pennies on a dollar, if that, and if you got 10,000 subscribers, you'll be hard pressed to have 13% of your people to look at ads anyway, So you're talking about what, $13 at the end of the week, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like with that many people. But yeah, man, there was a big change. I seen a big change, bro. Come like on this end of it now. Now we seeing Teddy going from online sales to like he got his own store, man. I'm seeing that. I'm like, okay, people are really creating some stuff. You see some people start on YouTube now, they're watchmakers, and I'm like, yo, so it did change a lot, bro. COVID, and I agree with you, Rob. COVID changed the whole face of watch content creators.
Well, and it was also the impetus of getting these creators to even start a channel. I mean, you look at the largest creator in our space, Nico Leonard, who had never even thought of YouTube until the pandemic. And he's saying, okay, how can I get my Pride and Pinion brand out there to more people? Well, I'm going to start a crazy YouTube channel, and that's how I'm going to do it. And it did. It worked.
It worked for him, bro.
And he's now the largest creator in our space. Teddy, I think, is probably second in number.
Yep, he's over a million now. He's over a million.
Yeah. And then there's the channel started by Andrew Morgan originally.
The Talking Hands,
which is at about 1.2, 1.3. I think Nico's up to 1.6. Teddy's around 1.1 or 2.
1.1. Yep.
So, those are the three biggest watch channels in the space. And I know Nico started his because of COVID. Not sure about the other two. I think Teddy may have been around before COVID, but
Teddy was there. Yep.
Yeah, but I think he started in 16 or 17 maybe. But I mean, he's been around. for a long time, but the real growth in the space didn't happen until you had people sitting at home with COVID with nothing to do.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. And we saw that growth from there. And my last question was, where do you guys think it's going to go? Like, what do you think that the, Watch Talk space could use more of, or what direction do you think, or do you see it going moving forward?
Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say that's a good question. Honestly, I don't know. I would like to see more live content from channels that don't do lives now. I would like to see. I think I would love to see Teddy do some live stuff from his store. He's so far he's been all pre-produced stuff, and his stuff is well done. But I would love to see him go live. I would love to see more of the creators that we see all the time get out there and talk to their fans. And you see this more and more. I mean, folks like Russell, the Mad Watch Collector. Russell has been doing more lives lately. So I think you're seeing more of that. I would like to continue to see more of that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that, man. But so I'm a component of, like, I'm old school, man. So I'm gonna take it back to Surface merchandise, man. I used to love watching the catalog of Surface, man, bro. Hey, bro, I loved it because I would always skip to the back and watch the little trains and the cars and stuff. The toy section, of course, right?
Yeah.
Then we got a little older right before they closed. I was into stereos and stuff like that, right? So how does that, that apply to now? I would love to see more content creators go to a Teddy Bulbasaur or an AD and catalog, like the watches that you can see and them actually handle it, sort of like what I do. But I would love to see the interaction between Teddy and a YouTuber. You know what I'm saying? Other than Mr. Wonderful, and no shade to Mr. Wonderful. You know what I'm saying? He's done everything he had to do to get where he's at. But I like to see people, like when I see Skylar, bro. The reason why I get behind your channel so much is because your enthusiasm, you're genuine on screen, bro, and you bring this excitement, and you're like, I want more. Give me more information. Man, what was it was an old movie, man, where more input. What movie was that?
Oh man, the robot.
Oh, was it Batteries Not Included or Johnny Five? Johnny Five.
Johnny Five.
Yeah, Johnny Five.
Yeah.
That's you, bro. Yeah. That is you. You're like, more input. I need more watches. More. Give me more. You know what I'm saying?
That's where he's reading the book and he's just
yeah. Bro, I'm actually gonna go home and watch that once I'm done.
Yeah, me too.
Short circuit.
Bro,
that's what it's called.
Short circuit. That's what it's. Thank you.
Yes.
Johnny Five is alive. Yeah, so that's where I want to see. And yeah, Rob, I agree wholeheartedly, man. I would love to see these guys get like a Nico, just not so much another big YouTuber, and I know Teddy invites a number of people. And there's one guy, SoCal, right? Miguel. I remember when him and his buddy Ross, Wristwatch Love, right? They started a podcast years ago. I was there for the very first podcast, the second and third, and they were doing their thing individually and together. And they were the first channel I seen that featured TGV on there, right? The one of their podcasts. I thought that was huge because I still say that the fact that TGV has less than 1 million is mind blowing. I would imagine that he would have at least 5 million subscribers as long as he's been on, but I have no idea. Maybe it's because like he is very upfront about like the people that are doing YouTube, like they're not doing the right reviews or whatever. He just goes in on people, man. He's a wordsmith, just like your boy Andrew Morgan, which I love the way he explains stuff. It is hilarious. Man.
Yeah, I need to message him and see if he's ever going to do some live stuff because I think he would be fantastic live.
Oh heck, bro, dude, I will watch that, man. And I don't want to get too far. Somebody asked about what was that? You just asked about one watch. I lost it. Fossil.
Was it the Fossil one?
Yeah, Fossil, bro. You know, the Fossil was very nostalgic for me, man. Because I remember if you had a Fossil back in the '90s, man, and some cologne and halfway decent clothes, bro, you didn't have to say much to get girls. I was like, they look at your watch and you'd be like, "Oh man, you're interesting." I was like, "Yeah, girl, I just bought this
Yeah.
Fossil." You know,
Fossil's got some financial difficulties right now. They just named a new CEO of Fossil. I want to say
oh wow,
Wednesday or Thursday of this week. So they're going through a
sheesh.
change. I'm hoping that they get back on their feet and see where it goes from there. But I would hope that Fossil would kind of look at their design and see about making stuff that looks a little bit better quality than what they've been putting out lately. I think they've been suffering a little bit from what Invicta's been suffering from.
Yeah,
I think their quality isn't what it used to be.
no.
Some of their watches seem to be decent, but I don't see a lot of that. So I'm hoping that this new CEO is going to come in and really take a top to bottom look at the brand and say, this is where we need to go. We need to do more automatics. We need to do higher quality. We need to do better cases. We need to do better finishing and still keep them affordable.
Well, you know what? With that being said, I got a question for you guys and you guys in the chat. With that being said, do you think even if they got their act together or change directions, you think it's too late? And the reason I ask that is because, in my opinion, I feel like there's a saturation when it comes to the different watches, man. Because the Japanese market, bro, like all the like your Paganis and Steel Dives, like all the homage pieces, man. I feel like they have like stepped up, man, like crazy for low cost, man. And I just feel like the competition is ridiculous, man. So, do you guys think that it will be too late for them, even if they got their act together?
There's two ways to look at it. Number one, a lot of watch shopping is now gone online. Fossil used to benefit from people walking through Macy's or Dillard's or, some department store that had them in there in the mall and would benefit from, they would see the watches in person. That's great. In the 90s, I bought a couple of Fossil watches just when I was walking through a Macy's looking at stuff. A lot of people don't go to the malls anymore. A lot of people don't walk through department stores. They want to get the stuff online. And so I think that's one thing that is not benefiting Fossil and other brands that are, as they say, mall watches, which is a term that I never kind of really understood because you can get a Tag Heuer in a mall, but nobody calls that a mall watch either. But I digress. So I think that that's one thing that's hurt them. And I don't think they have a big online presence. And the online presence I don't see any watches that I even want to look at.
That's
yeah.
true.
So to piggyback off of that, listen, it's never too late, right? I think just piggyback off what Rob said, it would have to be a massive pivot because here's the deal: there's nobody out there that remotely likes watches that doesn't recognize the name. And if Swatch showed us anything when they did their moon swatches, is that you can create hype and you don't necessarily have to do it through a gimmicky kind of way, or cheaper down. I think Rob's right. They have to go in and now they're competing against these brands that are giving you X amount into their watches. So there is a level of expectation that's been raised. But again, Fossil's a name that mostly everybody does know, and if you're into watches to that degree, they're going to create their own buzz right within us enthusiasts. So if Fossil was to say, check this out, we're giving you guys all mechanical watches, we're redesigning it, it's going to look more like this instead of maybe a fashion watch, like we're listening and we're doing this, it's going to go through the proper channels. And like we were saying before, there's a bunch of creators now that are out there. You definitely have a chance to do it, but you have to do it quickly before you have to close the doors, period.
Yeah. And one thing that could help them in that is that the brands like Seiko are starting to price themselves out of the under $300 market. If you could make a really nice automatic that is well finished for anywhere from $200 to $500, you could probably convince some of the Seiko buyers or some of the people that were looking at Seiko to look at Fossil, because Seiko's offerings in that price range are starting to reduce as they start to raise prices on even their lowest end Seiko 5s.
Yes, sir.
Totally true.
Yes, sir. Watches with Dennis. Thank you for being here. He's another content creator.
Yes, he is.
And he said live, I find it a bit tricky. If others are live at the same time, cannibalize each other. They cannibalize each other. The replay, of course, solves some of this, but many only want the live because they want to chat. And you know what? I'll say that I looked at the number of people that are like, there's a new subscriber born every day, right? I think it's like 1,000 per hour or something crazy that YouTube put out. Because I every once in a while I'll look through the YouTube forums and listen to that those classes that they have, and there's millions of people that's not subscribed to YouTube still, right? And you can literally go live and get a new subscriber today, right? Dennis, I watched his channel. I actually like his channel. I love his approach. I like the way, you know what I'm saying, because he's not one to attack. You know, he asks questions just like you. He asks questions, or if he's not familiar with something, he'll be like, "Hey, look, I don't know this. Let me research it, and I'll get back to you, or you guys let me know what it is." I respect that, and he made it palatable for me to absorb his channel. And there's some channels I stopped watching because I'm like, man, you keep talking about the same thing, bro. And if I say something to you, you get offended, and then your goon squad want to attack me in the chat and stuff like that. And I don't have time for that stuff.
Yeah, I will say, Dennis, I correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, Dennis, but I think you still do the Saturday morning live every week, and it's a good live. I've watched it several times. One thing he also points out is that Fossil owns Zodiac, and Zodiac has done a really good job of targeting enthusiasts. The reason being is because they're well finished. A lot of their watches, I think maybe all of them, are automatic watches, which is what enthusiasts prefer. And Zodiac has made it a point to go to a lot of these independent watch shows and show up where the enthusiasts are. And they've also gotten brand deals and AD deals with people like Pride and Pinion and others who are big YouTubers and can show off the brand. They're doing things right. I don't know why Fossil isn't doing what their owned brand Zodiac is doing.
Yeah, definitely a good point. As far as the cannibalism part goes, I mean, inevitably, if they all were to do the live streams, and listen, you're just not going to convince every single watch creator to go on live. Some of them have no interest, and I can respect that. In the day and age of having AI and having a lot of things automated, obviously where there's more thirst for the human part of the creation, and that's probably why a lot of people would agree with seeing their YouTuber go live. But at the end of the day, they're not all going to do it. Number one, and number two, these guys are obviously going to have a schedule. These things are going to be projected, like how Trap did it for this one, and you're going to know the time and the date, and so there is a way for them to kind of stay out of each other's way respectfully. But I could kind of get that argument, but you're just not, I don't think it's going to be that much of a clash for that reason.
Legacy brands like Fossil has been slow to adapt. You know what, I'm gonna tell you this, for those, I'm going to go tap back into that old timers. Zare, Venture, Ames, and Kmart are all companies. They were the 80s through 90s Walmart. Mm-hmm. And the reason why one of the main reasons, because I worked for Venture and I worked in department stores, one of the main reasons they went out of business, they weren't ready to adapt. I know Venture, at least, they wanted to keep a lot of stuff local. They, even though they had like their TV section, a lot of stuff was coming out of China and stuff like that, or Japan. They didn't want to open it to any other market, right? And that's the direction. Y'all see it is heavily traded from Italy to anywhere, right? And all of Asia, pretty much. I didn't even know, there's so many systems for our cars coming from overseas. So like when COVID hit, I was a car salesman at the time, and I was like, yo, when Russia attacked mainly, and I don't really get into that whole political stuff in war, but when they attacked, we were actually getting our parts, right? That plant got destroyed by an attack. So now we don't have the safety harnesses that goes in your Chevys and your Fords and stuff like that. And those cars sat and sat and sat. And the point I'm making is these watch companies aren't adapting. And I can say the same thing about, YouTubers, because YouTubers do suffer burnout. And it shows with some people. Like, I seen a guy throw up a YouTube, and he's not watch based, but this guy was doing his channel, and he just got so just low. He was like, yeah, man, I don't have a lot of views. And as I look in the chat, I don't see a lot of you guys. He was like, hey, man, you guys sharing this stuff out. He drank a beer and said, I don't even know if I'm going to continue doing this. And up to that point, I was hype about going to a channel that didn't talk about watches. And I was like, okay, I have to back off. Like, yo, what is going on with you, bro? So you have to adapt. I don't care if you're a watch company, a watch enthusiast, whatever, because your fan base will leave you. I'll just put that out there. We will.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or at the very least, take a break, man. If you're doing content and you're feeling burnout, your fans are gonna be there. They're gonna understand. You could take as much time as you want when you come back. Somebody who's really liking your content is gonna be there for you. So there's really no need for you to push it if you're not really feeling it, genuinely.
What's that channel? Is it Bluefish? I think that's the name of the channel. He's a watch review channel. He had been sick or something like that.
I believe that's right.
He was off for was it a year or less than a year? Maybe just under a year. And I remember the first episode he had came back and he explained what happened, bro. And guess what? I picked right back up where I left off while watching this channel. So you just have to adapt to that. And I agree with you. Sometimes if you have to take a step back, just do it. Just do it. Fossil Marketing Team needs to reach out to influencers like y'all. Ben 10, wrist check. I'm late. Which one do you want, bro? I got a number of watches here.
Let's do it at the same time.
Okay, all right.
You can just see all of them.
So this is what I had on today. And he got his Trafford on. Which, shout out to Trafford for having Mr. Wonderful shout them out and being considered to be one of the best micro brands out there. I had a chance to look at Trafford, and I think it's amazing. I love the Tonneau shape watch. I love its squarish shape, man. I think it's pretty dope.
Yeah, I'm real happy for Nathan. That video really did change his life and change his business, and I'm very, very happy with where Nathan is right now.
EB watch reviews. I will agree with you. They have not done it yet. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. And for those of you guys who don't know what JTV is just it's a home shopping network. And I am a product of watching Evine to Shop HQ and stuff like that for my Invicta timepieces. And they've always had a description of the watch. JTV is not fluid enough yet to where how we search, because we used to search by program. And you look at the watches that they got coming out, and you'll be able to see all of the description of the watch, everything. JTV has not adapted. And I agree with you, EB. Yeah, they have to get with it. And I don't think they were ready for that switch and if people don't know, Invicta was the main component at Shop HQ as far as vendors. They owned, they took up 34% of the market share at Shop HQ. And now they took Invicta away from Shop HQ, and Invicta left. Let's get that right. Invicta left, and they partnered with JTV, and now JTV was not ready because even with their shipping, I think they're not shipping those watches that you guys bought last week. They're not shipping those watches out to the end of September. So I don't think they weren't prepared for this switch. JTV, no info, correct. I sent a correspondence to them about that. No reply yet. I have to know the movement and model number. I'll send one. I'll send Kendi a message out directly and have her reach out to them because they have to do that. And I think, I was looking at the views last night. Their debut, I forgot Godfather had this, he had the number. They had 8,000 comments. Debut, and I saw some collectors that I hadn't seen their names in years, and they were there for the debut of Invicta and JTV. There were over 100 people in the chat, talking back and forth. But I looked at it last night, and I think also it's the timing because it came on at 10 o'clock and went to 2 a.m. I'm like, bro, I'm going to bed. I'm not about to watch.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
You know what I'm saying?
I may have liked Invicta, but I'm not staying up till 2 a.m.
Man, I can't do it. My personal thoughts, there are not any more YouTube channels based on watches. I think that there are more than enough people out there talking about watches. There are. I still say, bro, like you pick and choose who you care to, watch and stuff like that. And there's a YouTuber since we've been on, I'm pretty sure that there is 100 YouTubers that just started their channels. One of 100 probably was a watch content creator or something.
And I like seeing all the different perspectives. I mean, everybody has a different perspective on watches, and it's fun to hear what their perspective is. Maybe it'll change my perspective on a certain watch or a certain brand. You never know.
Yeah,
for sure. The more the merrier. I mean, like, I think that what happens to us is that we get wrapped up in this world, right? We consume a lot of content with watches. We put ourselves around a bunch of people that are as enthusiastic as we are with watches. So we forget that the percentage of non-watch collectors out there versus watch collectors to the degree that we are, it's very, very small. Okay. So if you need a reminder, go into your Starbucks and just, look around or ask some questions. And a bunch of people are not going to be interested in having that in-depth conversation. So as far as creators, man, I say more the merrier. I say more the merrier for independent brands, creators. I think it needs to be talked about even more because, watches are a thing that are always in danger of just being brushed over to the side. And Apple watches are, something that is showing that, right? It's kind of trying to replace the whole watches. So more than merrier.
$40 billion, bro. It's a $40 billion company.
Yeah.
Where what Rolex just broke 11 billion. I can't remember what Cartier was it 6 billion?
I want to say 6 or 7.
Okay. Knocking out Omega.
Yeah, I think it was 7 and Omega was 6, I think.
6, okay. I knew it was something.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
And with that, and because you had mentioned about your exit watch, right? And we were talking about watches in general. And from my perspective, it was like, okay, yeah, watches won't, that it won't go anywhere. But it's funny that, like, I run into people that have no idea that these watches exist and they have a smartwatch. And like if I'm doing a podcast or if I'm out doing, breakfast and doing lives and people, they'll wait for me to be done with the live and they say, hey, what is this about? Why do you got so many watches out here? I'm like, oh, I do content about watches. I'll review, I'll look, I'll showcase. And this lady said to me, people still wear like old timey watches. And I was stunned. I was stuck. It was almost like she just jabbed me in the heart with some kryptonite. I was like, shame on you. You're evil. Get out of my face. You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy. Like,
no, and I got into the whole smartwatch thing when the Apple Watch first came out. I thought it was fantastic. And then it occurred to me that one of the reasons that I got into watches in the first place was because of my father. And I still have one of his watches. I also have the same kind of watch that actually, when I was a little kid, really got me into watches, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I can't pass this down to my daughter because it is built to be replaced. The battery's gonna die, can't be replaced. The technology is going to get better, so this old technology is going to be replaced. The Apple Watch is disposable. Yeah. And that's kind of the thing that got me from, oh, I'm really into this, to there's no future for this. So that's why I went back to wearing traditional watches. And quite frankly, I had a bunch of traditional watches that I set aside when I was wearing the smartwatch, and I missed them. And so I just started to, I just moved away. I still have an Apple Watch in the other room. I haven't worn it or updated it in about 2 years.
Ooh.
So it's a brick by now, but I just got away from it because I wanted to go back to, I'm an old timey guy, I guess. I don't know.
I feel you, bro.
The Apple Watch is, listen, I started off with the Apple Watch, really. I had watches before it, but I never really was connecting to having something on my wrist 4 or 5 years back. But the Apple Watch was attractive to me because I had the iPhone. I wanted to, track my sleep, track my heart rate, yada, yada,
Same way
yada.
with me. Yeah.
You convince yourself that you actually need these things at one point, and you do, and it's cool for a while. But then for me, at least, when I have to charge it every single day, there's not really no connection to it other than it keep buzzing or bothering you. I still have mine, and I started off there, and it got me used to putting something on wrists, so there is a space for it. For me, again, I have mine too. It's dead now. It's been sitting there for months. Will I ever use it again? Maybe. Will it be out of date? Probably. But, it is what it is. Going back to just mechanical watches and quartz watches. That's just how it came.
Okay. Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my earpiece died. I forgot. I was like, and I left the base at home. I'm just batting 1,000 today.
Yeah, well,
You did a great job, man.
That's what you get for using
rechargeable
batteries.
So I have no issue with smartwatches. I actually have the latest Microsoft smartwatch, and I've yet to activate it to use it. I mean, it's there, it's cool, whatever the case is, blah blah blah. But it's just something about, honestly, even the quartz. I know people say, hey, quartz is not a soul, but I have this right here. I absolutely dig this Lunar Pilot.
Yeah, and I have that one as well.
Gosh, I really like this watch. I like looking at it. I clicked the chrono pushers. And again, one of my favorites is this bad boy right here, the Heritage Tissot at 1938.
And that is not quartz.
Which is not quartz. And I love just looking at this watch, knowing that at one point in time during that crisis that we had, that financial crisis back in the 30s, what's that, the Great Depression?
Yep.
There were people that were, Tissot was actually doing pretty good because they say, hey, the American market may be suffering right now, but they were everywhere, right? They were just knocking it out the park, bro. And I'm just I just, watch is going to always be a part. And then with my grandbaby, right? When she started, really feeling around and walking and grabbing stuff, man, she paid attention enough to she'll pick out certain watches that she like, and she'll put it on her wrist. And it's just funny watching this huge watch, and she'll hold it up like how I do it. And then I'm like, okay, baby, it's time to put the watch back. She'll be like, nope, it's mine.
Yep,
and I'm like,
mine now.
Wow, you know what I'm saying? And I just I think that is something so cool to pass on to people, or and I always say this, as I get older, and as long as this is documented, my children will be able to go back and reference okay, what watches did dad say was most important to him? Because they're looking in the box and they're like, man, I think I saw him wear this. Hold on, let's go back to his YouTube channel and see what, that's mine. He loved that one. You know what I'm saying? Let them fight it out. You know what I'm saying? Don't kill each other, but yeah, they're yours. I mean, because they're for the kids, bro. You know what I'm saying? I can't take it with me. You know what I mean? And maybe that lady that hit me up on Instagram, maybe you can give me one of those fake watches so I can wear that as my body's being buried. That's where that fake watch needs to be buried.
Well,
I will say during a meeting is more rude to look at a regular watch. Okay, yeah, I agree with that. Precisionist movement. Yep, I like the precisionist as well. Nice, that Heritage. That's a bullet. Yes, it is. Exactly. That charge. Okay. F this. All right. Hey guys, I think this is a good point for us to kind of, relax and recharge. And I know Robert Wood, he got stuff to do. Skylar Santana got stuff to do. His wife, tell wifey, thank you for letting me borrow you for 1 hour and 34 minutes. I appreciate you.
She's been giving me the eyes once we pass the hour mark, just like rolling eyes. Like,
oh, I'm sorry.
She's glaring. No, I'm just playing.
Hey, listen.
Anyway.
Tell wifey Team Santana over here. I don't want to cause no trouble.
Trap says Team Santana.
But yeah, this has been fun, bro. We need to do this again. We'll see next time. I mean, Skylar, I know you said you want to do this on your channel and stuff like that, bro. I'm game. All you gotta do, hit me up, bro. I'm willing, bro. So, and I will send people your way that could, that you could possibly, that I think should be on your show. I really
appreciate you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Trav, for having on. Yeah, we communicate back and forth all the time. Robert, absolute pleasure to talk to you. Absolute pleasure to meet you. I definitely would love to have you on the channel as well, man. This was a lot of fun, and I want to do this again soon.
Yeah, and have Trap, because I told Trap to send you my number, so make sure he does that.
Okay, I'll text it to you after this, man. So everybody in the chat, Rob, Skylar, thank you guys so much. I appreciate everybody. I hope you guys have an amazing Saturday. And if you didn't buy a watch today, man, what are you waiting for, man? Go get you a mechanical watch today, man. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and dive in that rabbit hole. Don't be scared. Space G, go get you an Aragon today, man. Spoil yourself. With that being said, thank you guys, man. Appreciate you guys. Have a blessed one, man.
See you guys later.
Guys.